Stickler for that.
It's now 7 o'clock, and I'd like to call to order the September 12th meeting of the Brookfield Inland Wetlands Commission, regular meeting. We have a number of people with us today. I have Mr. Robert Hutterman, our secretary. To my left, to my right is David Frankel, a regular member. My name is Michael Neustadt. I'm the vice chair, but will act as chair this evening. And we also have Rochelle Hudza, who is our wetlands enforcement officer and will be taking minutes tonight. So that's the first two items. And with that, Rochelle, if you could give us the wetlands officer's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the 731 federal road inspections that are being done by Cynthia Rabinowitz.
Correct.
Once again, the inspection report of August 26th came out clean. I dare say it's in part because the weather has been very dry, or had been up until that point. So but they are attending to all those problems. We're very happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
They're managing the site very well now.
Yeah, well, she does say that this was just an inspection just after a rain, so.
Oh, this one, yeah.
Yeah, so that's good news.
Very good. All right, well, we have had some heavier rain, I think, recently. So 100 Candlewood Lake Road, that's the new school project. The site is actually in terrible condition. But I was out there. I've been out since this commission met last. I was out there twice. This is a map of the area. The yellow area, the highlighted area, is where the conditions are the worst. This is a very sensitive site to begin with. I'll pass around these photos too. I only have one set.
We were aware of that. What is the status of the building? Is it?
You can see it here.
Oh, okay.
So
this is
unfortunately, they have had tremendous delays because of various reasons.
We'll sort
The
of share
share
everything.
shortage and
Oh,
all that.
okay, it's not.
Everything's different.
Yeah, these are
Yeah,
all
each one is
different.
different. I have only one set, but you can
Okay.
pass them around.
Yeah.
I just received these hot off the press this afternoon, actually after the close of business today. But I have been there quite frequently, as I say, twice since our last meeting here. And although when I go there and afterwards they're very responsive, there remain significant issues with erosion and the sedimentation. And as you know, this is quite a sensitive wetland site. So I think the latest they sent to me sometime today too. They sent to me I should say that is Rob Tencha, who is the overseer, the site overseer hired by the Brookfield Municipal Buildings
Okay,
Committee.
okay,
So he is the overseer of O&G, who is the construction company. And it's O&G's duty to remedy these wetlands problems. So I took a site walk with both Mr. Tencha and also Tim Chan, who is the O&G contractor. And once again went over many of the same areas, but the silt fence in some areas has been breached. There are some holes in some of it. And I did go there right after this tremendous rain we just had. So I was there most recently on Thursday, Thursday, just after the rains. So, all I can say is it's not a very good situation. I told them that, I wanted them to address these with a timeline because I was reporting to you, the commission, tonight, and it really was quite serious. So they had provided me with some kind of a schedule today. I frankly have not had a chance to look at it since it was submitted, just after work today. All I can say is some of those pictures show that they are actually in the process of, remediating those problems.
So you saw some improvement from your previous visit?
Well, it's both. I initially saw some improvement over the last time I had been there, and then it rained, and then when I went out again, it was a mess, and it was worse, because it would be worse, because we hadn't had rain, and then we had this torrential, and I mean, this is the problem with the site, and I said to them, look, it looks fine now, but, this was, a few weeks ago, but, everyone knows the first rain, it's gonna be.
Yeah, when I say improvement, I was thinking more in terms of what they had in place.
Well, they have been, as I say,
Have they
they've
added
been
to-
responsive, they have added additional silt fence, but it's already useless. Like, that's how much silt there is in this place, I mean, how much runoff there is. In fact, they said that, after that torrential rain, they actually had water in the school building, like it came up so high, which they had never expected, and they were just grateful that the children weren't yet in school.
You mean in the existing school building?
In the new-
Huckleberry
in the one
Hill
they're
you're
building.
talking about?
In
No.
the new, or in the new
No,
building?
in the new building that they're
Oh,
building.
okay, because they're not using that yet.
No, but they were saying that, thank
Oh,
goodness it
good
wasn't.
that they wasn't, yeah.
School wasn't in session, because this was something new, they had not experienced this, but the water came up into the school building, so there is so much water there, in general. I mean, they work in mud, whenever it's the rainy season, in both in, October and, like, say, April, May, they're working in just absolute mud. And my boots were completely covered, it looked like I had cement on them. So I would say that, I think with a heavy hand, if I'm constantly on them, they will be responsive as they have been, but it does take an awful lot of effort to.
Is there something that can be done, and maybe we need an engineer to answer this question? But
Yeah, I would
that
actually
if they're already,
appreciate that.
yeah, they're already saying, we're already seeing that the building is flooding. Is that gonna continue after they finish the building? Did they not engineer the building properly to
Yeah.
take into account the flood after a 1 inch, half-inch rain, 1 inch rain?
I think some of the problem is
It was
because,
multi-inch, but
is because the whole site is open and exposed. In other words, it's all dirt. There's nothing to hold or stabilize the soil. So that, that will all, so much of the runoff will depend on, the.
Absorption.
Right, exactly. When we get the plants in there, that'll hold the earth down. But, part of the other problem with managing a site like this, from my perspective as a wetlands, inspector, it's such an active site that you may go out there one day and you notice this problem, but the next day they literally have to dig all that out anyway. Like, in other words, it's part of the construction process. So, I asked them, I says, well, what about this area? There's got a gully running in here, and it's obviously making its way down here. Yeah, well, next week, all of that earth that you're looking at now is gonna be hauled away.
Understood, but it seems to me that when a site like this, the construction is planned by an engineer and a soil scientist, et cetera, and we're given all the plans, we ask to see that it can, what they do during construction can handle any runoff.
Yeah.
The amount of runoff you're expecting, and obviously that's not the case here. Now,
Right.
did you, I mean, if I
it's an
remember.
imprecise science too, because you can't really
It's imprecise,
predict it.
but they can hopefully do a better job than this. And,
I believe we're dealing with wetlands here. If you remember,
We
we
know
were
we
gonna
are.
exchange this wetlands
Yeah,
for
they
something
were
else,
gonna-
and that might be a problem.
Yeah, if they, to extend the wetlands to replace what they're taking away.
Mhm.
But I think our problem right now is more of an immediate issue of protecting what is there. Did you, in your conversation with them, if I remember correctly, reading the minutes, what I said was I questioned whether it was appropriate to think about a stop work order until they remediate the problems that have already been caused. And it's not something I want to do.
Right.
But, this is the education of our kids,
Yep.
and we need to get that school finished.
Right.
But it's something that might have to be done if they can't continue to work and solve their problems.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something we have the power to do, and they should know that.
Yeah.
So this is what Mr. Tencha, the project manager for the Municipal Buildings Committee wrote, this short email. He said, this was the latest at 4:54 today, hot off the press. Attached is a marked up plan, and that's what I gave you there, and photos, which I gave you also, illustrating the site work contractor work to stabilize the southern slope and outfall permanently. All existing silt fencing at the toe of the slope has been removed and replaced. The slopes have been reshaped and are in the process of receiving topsoil before they are seeded by the end of this week. The seeded slopes will receive erosion control matting for additional stabilization. The tops of the slopes are being graded to create a small berm with additional silt fencing to prevent washout of the slopes. Further improvements to the outfalls will be made when the bridge abutments are placed. Overall, the conditions in this area have been substantially repaired and will continue to improve as the turf grass begins to root. Please let me know if you need any other information ahead of your meeting tonight. Also, you are welcome to visit at any time, even at a moment's notice. Thank you.
So the highlighted area is the area of the most,
Yes,
damage.
it's the greatest concern.
Sure.
That's the
Okay.
eastern portion of the.
And
Yes.
it's
Eastern.
by the street, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Street should be
No,
over
No,
here.
the street is over here.
So this would be
Capital
the
Lake
southern.
Road.
Mhm.
Wouldn't
Okay,
this be
I'm
the
sorry.
southern?
Where's the?
Okay.
Yeah. So this.
Can you see it, Bob?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
I
you've
do
got
have
one
one there
too.
too. So yeah, this is all the silt from this is a huge pile here. All the silt coming down over here. But this is the area that's the most sensitive as far. I believe it's right in here.
I thought that was,
Am I upside down? No.
Yeah.
No, because I drive in. This is Candlewood Lake Road.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
There's a sensitive right
Okay.
outside in the front of the school.
oh, okay,
Here, this is where the stream is,
right.
and they covered it up. The stream comes over here somewhere, and they
Well,
covered that
yeah,
whole
it,
thing
it
up.
was under the,
Yeah. But
and they moved it
right,
to over here,
Right. And it's here now.
and it runs out here
Right, but this
onto-
area here
Mhm.
is temporary. No, yep. Okay, this area right here is is where the like you can still see the remnants of the prime wetlands. I mean, there's water there. There are frogs. You can see dragonflies.
What's
all-
supposed to happen with this brook or stream you're
Well, then
talking
they're
about?
gonna eventually uncut. They're gonna dredge this out. Right now, there are pipes running underground. They're gonna remove the pipes, open this up, open the stream back up, so it'll flow freely, and then there'll be bridges going over back to the school.
There were two endangered species, one plant
Yes.
and one animal. Are they still there? Is there any problem with
So they're
that?
also being compromised at this moment. I had at one point earlier, about 2 months ago, I tried to meet Chris Mangles over there, who is the botanist who is, working on the preservation of those rare plants. He has not been out there in some time, and he was unable to meet with us the day I had invited him out there, which was, as I say, about 2 months ago, my first visit to the site. However, today he called me and said he had gone out there, and he said that so he texted me or something, or he left a voicemail or something regarding the plants that they were being encroached upon. In other words, there's supposed to be a fence that says this is
To keep all work
right. This
out
is
of that
the limit of
area.
disturbance, and that oftentimes at these enormous sites tends to migrate. And so Mr. Mangles today, said that there are encroachments.
Not good.
So, I pointed that out to to Bob Tencha, the manager, the project overseer, and he said, just again today at 7:04 p.m. No, that can't be right? 9:12 at 7:04? Perhaps it just came in. Yes, I met with Chris this morning. I disagree that there were serious encroachments to the hairy fruited sedge. There was an area that was matted down along the perimeter
Did
chain.
you, wait a minute, did you just say disagree?
Correct.
Huh.
There was an area that was matted down along the perimeter chain link fence, which is the same area that is the problem there, which could have been from foot traffic, animals, or rainwater. Chris felt strongly it was foot traffic. The site work laborers working in that area Friday and today said they knew about the protected area and stayed within the construction side of the fence.
But if it was foot traffic, they
Well,
obviously
so
weren't
as I
keeping everyone out.
understand it, Chris Mangle said that it looked like someone had removed or at least unfurled or furled, I
Mhm.
should say, furled the construction, not the fence, but the orange,
Yeah.
barrier that is a limit of disturbance,
Mhm.
and that people were apparently using that area as a toilet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's what Mangles thought.
Well,
Hey, aren't there porta potties there?
Well, yeah, but if you're on a construction site and the whole thing is full of mud, you're gonna go traipsing across the construction site
Mhm.
through the mud when you can just jump over the fence and take a whiz.
well, yeah, that's funny, but, and, this was always a very sensitive site in Wetland, and there was, not a lot of desire in this commission to allow anything in there. However, and you weren't here for that, there was an awful lot of pressure
There was pressure.
from the town, from, the
Board of
people
Ed.
who wanted a school, and there was a real need for the school in the community. To satisfy us, they brought in, some nights there seemed to be a whole line of people who came in and promised to do this and promised to do that, and said, don't worry, and we will do everything you ask for, and we will protect the area while we're building, and
Everything
now,
will be good.
now it sounds like they aren't doing what they promised. Whether they can't or won't or just are not capable of it, what do we do?
Wait, I think the problem is the terrain itself. It's not that people aren't trying to do this. You had the compromise where we went along and approved it. I remember it was
Well, part of
moving
it,
around.
part of it was one of the things, we were going to lose some wetlands on the site. And the compromise was allowing them to move into some wetlands, which were absolutely necessary for that building. And we talked about making the building smaller and such, but no, they were going to take, and I don't remember the numbers, but an acre and a half of wetlands, not that much, a few dozen square feet of wetlands, and replace it with a twice as much wetlands off-site. And some nearby land that the town owned.
Yep.
The town agreed to it, they
Yep.
agreed to it. Once this was gonna be done, they were gonna reconstruct some wetlands for us.
And my friend here was the one that suggested that
Well,
would be a good way to go
yeah,
at the
I
time,
mean,
you know?
I-
And wasn't it supposed to be after 6 months, we were gonna review it, and if it wasn't working out, we
Well, yes,
could make
but
a
that would
change?
be after the construction of the new wetlands, which hasn't even started. That wasn't even gonna start until the building was finished. In other words, when this construction project was finished, then they would do the new
Mhm.
wetlands. But that's not what we need to deal with right now. What we need to deal with is the fact that there's a perfectly good wetlands that's being destroyed by the construction process. And if they don't stop that right away, they're gonna have to stop work until they figure out how to protect what's left of the wetlands.
I think the question is, when do we go to that point? I don't know that we do it right now unless you recommend. There is something.
Look, I think that's a last resort.
It is.
Yeah, okay. Now, there's something else I want to bring up here. When there was original talk about the new building at the
Yeah.
site, there was also talk about renovating the current footprint, the current building, and people wouldn't have any of it, especially the Board of Ed.
Mm-hmm.
And,
that's-
if this is really a tough deal and it's gonna be a money loser, maybe, we have to go back to the other of renovating the current building.
Yeah, tell them to stop building this. I think that's something that's water under the bridge. I don't think that's a reasonable solution.
Maybe it's putting the school in a different site then, if this is not
Yeah,
viable.
that-
That would be
But I mean, that's even
But
worse than
look how much,
renovating the
look how much
current
of your
building.
tax money has already been spent.
Oh, God, yes, it's like
So-
throwing money in a
I,
street.
these guys, the construction company is a reputable
Yes.
construction company that knows what they're doing, I would like to think. The engineers who designed this knew what they were doing, but they were wrong. And they need to come up with a solution, and I think they can.
Yeah, well, I mean, frankly, in my experience, they're always wrong, because the problem is not that look, it's everyone's best guess, but the fact is, when a site is opened up, things arise on the site during the jobs, one cannot possibly anticipate. I mean, what they are here, I don't know, but it's clearly, there's a heck of a lot more water than, even though they knew about the water, there's a heck of a lot more than anyone anticipated. But so, I think that if I keep at them, I think they will continue to
Okay,
perform.
well,
However,
good.
it is, I must tell you that it's rather exhausting for me to put on my boots and run out there and, and then, stand there screaming at three men, yelling my head off as if they're gonna actually listen to me. But they've.
Well, you tell us when you're finally sick and tired of the whole thing.
Oh, I think that was a couple of weeks ago, Fred.
A couple of weeks ago, so we're beyond the
No,
sick and tired
No,
phrase.
no, look, this is my job.
I know, but you reach a limit at some point, a psychological
So,
limit.
what I would just say is, I mean, there are a couple of things that disturb me. I mean, one, I think that I wish that someone had put in, a third-party reviewer. I don't know why. I mean, we have, the Buildings Commission has the oversight for the general site, and he has been responsive, but only when I have to instigate the response. It's not as if they're reporting freely. But I wish there was somebody like that, like Cynthia Rabinowitz, who's giving us reports, because that, not only does that free me up, but her eye and her, her standing as a soil scientist, is much more, carries much more weight. So anyway, but that's not what's happening. I don't have such a person. I mean, maybe it would be possible to, to have her come down once or twice to see what's going on there, what she recommends.
Well, it makes sense to ask them to either come to our meeting or give us a written
Well, and
report.
I did that, yeah,
By the next
yeah.
Meeting,
of
maybe.
exactly what they're going to do, understanding that what they gave us originally to get the permit isn't adequate,
Right.
and they need to do more, and what do they propose?
Right, and I I said to them, I would recommend that you send somebody over to the meeting tonight, because I am not here to defend you. I'm here to report to the commission,
Right.
not to be your spokesperson, so, which is really what I feel like I'm doing. In other words, I'm kind of mediating between them and the commission, when that's not my job. My job is simply to report what I've seen, and what I've seen is pretty bad, and you can see it for yourself. But they are working on it. They gave us proof positive that they're actually, and they've described what they're doing. So, to that extent, I really don't see that a cease and desist order is even available to this commission as a remedy, because they are in fact, trying to remedy the situation.
Well, I'm not so sure. I would think we do have that right if we believe they haven't remedied the situation.
Yeah, but with these pictures that they're actually working on remedying it, it'd be.
Well, let's see.
Okay, let's see what
Let's see what happens in 2 weeks.
We'll stay with that one.
Then it is stark,
Yeah.
if we do that cease and desist.
Well, I
That is
understand,
a
and
pretty
I'm not
harsh thing.
proposing that now. I just want to make sure they understand we do have the
Yeah.
right to do it.
I'm not really comfortable with, or somehow don't get a sense of how can I approach this. So, in some ways, I think this should be reported to the municipal building
Absolutely.
committee. And I've tried to do that twice via the only vehicle I know, which is going on, I don't even, because, these people, like you, everyone has a private email, and they're not public, and that's well and good. So I've tried to email the commission chairman twice through the town's website, and I've, gotten no response. I mean, the alternative is to go to one of their meetings, which are held, I think, at the gymnasium of some school, maybe, or other, and, but again, that's, quite a.
That might be necessary. Or perhaps, since much of the pressure to approve this came politically, that we should have a sit-down with the first selectman.
We can do that, and I know that she is aware of some of the problems. I mean, I've reported to her that, I go there frequently, and and she is aware that, this is a problem. And I think she too, is sorry that it was being built there. But I think the feeling was, look, we own this land already, we're gonna use it, rather than buy a new piece of land.
Mm-hmm. Well, we serve at her pleasure, and she needs to know what we're thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is all gonna be in the minutes, and it's circulated to other boards and commissions throughout
Yeah,
town.
they don't
So
read it.
I hope somebody will actually read the minutes
Well,
that we do.
I think it needs to come maybe in a letter to Tara.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I don't mean to give you work to do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
It
concur
doesn't
in
matter.
that.
I'm here to work.
I know, but I don't like you jumping
All right,
through hoops either.
let's move on. We have other business to deal with tonight. I
Right,
think
so-
you were perfectly aware now of our,
Yes, I am.
Concern
I just
and-
don't, is there anything else on the,
on the
the
Gra-
sites?
Candlewood
Okay,
Lake
so
Grays Bridge.
105 Yeah, so 105 Grays Bridge Road, there was apparently a stipulation made by this commission to write a letter saying that, that the baffle was put into the drain,
Mm-hmm.
and we have pictures of that now, and the licensed environmental professional wrote us a letter, it's in your packet, I believe, wrote us a letter stating that baffle, which will, help reduce sedimentation, or at least
Mm-hmm.
trap, large debris. So that has been installed, and we received a picture. So that stipulation has been satisfied, and as I
Good.
mentioned earlier, before the meeting started,
Good.
the only open item on that site, which I have visited, and it's stable, as we had requested, is the planting of, I believe it's 3 trees, 2 inches in caliber diameter, in diameter, but that, they have a year to do that.
Did we
so.
give them only till September 1st? I can't.
No.
Usually
no,
with trees.
For that one, apparently, we did.
Yeah.
The one with installing the baffle
Mm-hmm.
in the drain.
That had the deadline.
Yeah.
But the trees don't have
The
a
trees
deadline.
do have a deadline. It's a year from the date of approval, which I think must be March, it was March 31st.
Okay, so
So
we're
the-
not past the deadline.
So the 2 bullet points below the 105 Grace Bridge Road, they're basically fulfilled, correct?
Well, yeah, so the first item,
Okay.
the first bullet point is merely a copy showing the stipulations that this commission issued, and the second one is the satisfaction of one of those stipulations. The
Okay.
last item, it remains, but it's not yet due, so that's
So that's
good. Yeah.
not a problem at this
Correct.
point.
When is the other stipulation due? do you
March
know?
31st,
A
2023.
year from the permit, next March.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, so
Um,
we're good on
I'd
that
like
for
to
right
also
now.
report on some other, what do we have, other enforcement actions, is that? I'm
Well,
sorry,
the only other
item-
one is 35 Merwin Brook, which I'm not expecting much from.
No, there's no further information on that one, but I did want to say that I have also been I was out twice now to, what do they call, is it Brookfield? The big development near Dunkin' Donuts at the Four Corners, is that?
You mean by the Toll Brothers?
Yeah, but what, no, what?
The park, the
No, wait, Brookfield, oh gosh, Village, Brookfield
the
Village.
village, oh, at the Four Corners.
Yeah, at the Four Corners.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, Brookfield Village, yeah.
So, that site is very active again now, is also active, they had built like phase 1 or whatever that took us to, but they're
And
on
we
the next
approved
phase.
another 2 buildings in
Yeah,
the back.
so I've been called out there, several times. I actually got a complaint today, perhaps not related to wetlands, but there's a lot of tracking of soil onto the road. That call just came in late this afternoon. I haven't been
From their
out there
trucks
or
going
addressed
in
it
and
yet. But I did walk the property with the construction manager there, because there are, wetlands marked there. I inspected the silt fence, and there were some holes in it, and they repaired those. I haven't seen them yet, but they did. The guy said he was gonna do it right now. He went out to repair the holes in the silt fence. So, again, that's another active site that I'll keep my eye on.
Okay, if I remember, the major concern we had is there is, at one point, one of their driveways or roadways is very close to the wetlands. They were going to build
Right.
a wall there, and the wall was going to be, you would have to look at the permit, but so many feet off the wetlands.
Right.
And they were not going to do anything, the wall, everything would be done from the inside.
Right, and in fact, they're installing a special kind of a, you know, limitation
Yeah.
fence, you know, more substantial than, you know, the orange.
Yeah, that's what we had
Yeah,
asked for.
right, correct, yeah.
So that's good that they're starting and they're doing what they're supposed to.
So far, so good.
Any other areas of?
Well, I just wanted to mention
Sure.
58 Old Grace Bridge Road, because, you know, it is a site that needs to be followed up on. The last time we had a report on that one was back in January, January 6th, and it's kind of been lost in the shuffle because of the change in administration in the Wetlands office. But I will pick that up again, and, you know, as soon as this coming week, just to find out where that project is.
Okay.
That's it, really.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Enforcement, old business. 500A and 518 Federal Road, we've received a communication from them that they would like that application to be postponed for at least one more meeting. So I would like to make a motion that we continue item W-22-27 for 500A and 518 Federal Road until the next regularly scheduled meeting.
I'll second, or I'll
Let's-
so move.
No, I moved, you second.
Okay,
Any
Vote.
All in
comment?
favor?
Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? No, motion carries. So that puts that until next month, or in 2 weeks. Next item is 506 Candlewood Lake Road. The Candlewood Inn has asked for permission to extend the north side of an office building.
Yes,
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Okay.
Good.
Has anything changed?
oh,
from-
name and address
Oh,
first.
yes, I'm sorry, thank you.
My name is John Royce, R-O-Y-C-E, and my address is 74 Drumville Road in Wilton, Connecticut.
Okay, give me a moment to find your,
I used to live near you.
Is that right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Near Drumville?
well, Wilton Crest, the condo.
Oh, yeah.
Is that in, Rochelle, is that information in our packet? From- I
Yes,
don't
I
s-
believe it is. It's not, is it not? I thought I just saw it. Isn't it a folded map?
Uh,
No.
I thought I saw it.
all right, can,
I'm gonna look.
oh, wait a minute. Here we go.
Is it in the
No,
packet?
this is the,
Well, let me
this
get the
is,
file.
no, yes, let's get the
I
file.
have also last week's or
What is
2
it,
weeks ago.
990?
506.
506 Candlewood Lake Road, yeah, let's get the,
Okay. Here's the large map, Mr. Chairman.
okay. If I
Yeah,
remember correctly,
It's
it
probably in
was,
your old packet, because this
Yeah.
was introduced last.
it was quite straightforward.
Yeah, it is.
And, so is this it?
It's upside down.
Yeah, I know, I understand. Okay, if you could, yeah, show me,
Is that it?
where the
Yeah,
rest,
this is
oh,
it.
okay, I
is
see,
it.
it is upside down. This is the restaurant building, the main building.
Correct, there's the lake.
Okay,
And there's the road.
right, Candlewood.
It's Candlewood
So
Lake
this
Road.
is your one-story
existing
of,
building, yeah.
and this is what you're putting in?
This little spot.
Okay,
that-
and when we looked at it last week, I don't think anyone saw
Right.
any issues, we just couldn't approve it immediately. Have you made
Right.
any changes to this, or to your plan since we got this?
No, it's the same as last,
Okay.
as this plan.
Okay. Are there any other questions
No,
then?
I'm good for that.
Rochelle, you're okay with this,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Simon is on vacation, I think he was here the last time.
Yeah.
Simon did.
All right, this is
That's
our
yours.
official copy, so let's not lose this. So actually, I need to sign it.
Well, no, we want to vote on it
Of
first.
course, but I'm just saving it here, so I'll be able
Yep,
to.
yep.
So can I take a motion? One of you would like to move for
Go
approval?
ahead, Dave.
You want me to? Okay.
Either way.
I make a motion to approve 506 Candlewood Lake Road, Candlewood Lake Inn, number W-22-36, extension to northeast side of office building, date of receipt August 27th, 2022.
Based on,
And
here's the information plans by CCA.
based on plans by CCA,
Dated.
and that was dated August 11th, 2022.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Any,
All the
Other
normal
discussion?
stipulations.
and hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank
Yep.
you very
Good
much.
luck
I
with the
appreciate it.
project.
Okay,
Well, thanks a
so
lot.
you
We're
should
looking
get
forward to it.
something in the
Yes.
mail very shortly. Is there anything else?
We're going to publish this, and it will be
Yeah.
effective day after
After publication.
publication.
Okay, terrific.
All right, thank you so
Then we
much.
go on to the next meeting.
All right.
You're first.
Yes, I know, it's
appreciate it.
sometimes a little bit of work
Yeah,
to do.
no, it was very smooth. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, no, you came up with something that was viable.
We-
Not everything is viable either.
We tried to get our architect to do exactly that, so there was no
Very
questions,
simple.
hopefully.
Rochelle,
You never know.
there is a
One
stamp
never
and a
knows.
signature on
Exactly.
this already.
Yeah.
Was this?
There's a signature by whom?
I don't know,
I mean, it was probably the architect's signature.
probably, so I
CCA's.
need to sign it.
And stamp.
As approved.
We
Yeah.
also want to do a
Well, the
stamp on
stamp
it.
is right down here.
I'll get it.
Could you get that?
Yeah.
All right, we're all set, just a little
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
paperwork to make what I
Incidentally,
say.
sorry, don't mean to be bossy or
No, I
anything.
appreciate your help.
Oh, yeah,
Good,
that's the
good.
architect's,
Okay.
the engineer.
You live and learn with these things, don't you? Well, you want to sign it, so why don't you do it blank? Yeah, good,
Yeah, I'm gonna do it up here.
good. Good.
Okay, does it need another, was this just two copies?
Was it one page?
This is a second copy, it's identical.
No,
Yes,
it's- You sure?
yeah.
Okay.
Do you see something different?
I don't know, let's open it up and see if we see anything.
No, it's the same.
Okay, and we'll give that to,
Yeah, it'll go back in the file.
Actually, let's put it back in the file, yeah, and Christine can do that tomorrow.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly, okay, good.
All right, so it's been
Very good.
officialed.
Thank you. And are
You
these-
wanna keep
Yeah,
these?
please.
Yeah,
All right. At 506 Candlewood Lake Road. Now we have some new business. Do we, you were from
wait, we had a code of ethics.
that, oh, okay. I'm going to, oh, actually, that's not what I was thinking it was. That's not the regulations. What is this item code of ethics form?
Wait, let's see if we see it in.
I saw that, which
Yeah.
was the original form that we all saw.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
It's in the packet.
I'll try to figure that out while you listen to the next case. I think if that is coming up next, maybe we should. amend the-
Why don't we
amend the
move that
agenda.
down,
Yeah, all
While
right.
the
you-
agenda, and let
I do
these,
have a copy, I think we all got
Okay.
a copy in our packets.
Mhm.
Okay, but I'm not sure what we needed to do with it tonight.
we'll,
I know.
we'll,
Take it.
yeah,
She to review the code of ethics. That's what the email said. She wants all the commissions.
why don't we do 46 Knoll Crest,
Yeah, all
and then
right.
we'll,
Okay, I make a motion that we move 46 Knollcrest Drive, W 2230, to the next item on business.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so now we can talk to 46 Knollcrest. That be you?
Do I stand or?
Yeah, come on over. You can pull up a chair, you could stand, whatever you're comfortable doing. And if you could give us your name and address for the
Ryan
record.
Murphy, 46 Knollcrest Drive in Brookfield.
Okay, did you get that, Rochelle?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
I made the little package, but I think you have them all. It
Okay.
appears that I filled out the application probably not correctly, because I put that there's 0 wetlands, and I wouldn't be here if there was 0 wetlands.
Exactly.
So I'm working to build a 12 by 24 deck. I hate standing in front of the sitting, that's a little awkward. and my soil is deemed
Mm-hmm.
wetlands. So.
So all the soil, including where you're
The whole
building the deck?
neighborhood is considered, the soil is non.
Yeah, so,
How-
Mr. Chairman, on the, on the standard map that the town generally, townspeople, the public generally sees, there's, this doesn't indicate wetlands.
Does not,
No,
and,
but, well, but when you, like on the DEP website,
Yeah.
as, Mr. Murphy said, the whole, area is, complete, I mean, your house is like almost entirely in the wetlands, isn't that correct?
No, I
No.
mean, the wetlands is way in my backyard, like not seeable. But you're saying
Is
soil.
that
No,
what
no,
the
no, I'm
outline
talking about
is here
soil.
that you
Yeah,
have?
is
that's
this the wetlands outline?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
No, this is,
This?
the wetlands outline.
Okay.
Wait, this over here?
Yeah.
Okay,
So this is the deck you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the closest you are to the wetlands is here.
Mm-hmm.
This is more than 75 feet.
Yes,
Why do you believe you need a,
because I was told it because the soil is, so I'm far away from the wetlands.
Well, the
On
wetlands-
map I see, the map that I can see, it
Yeah.
shows that I'm far away, but
Where is the,
Okay.
the file? Is there not a picture in the, better map in the file?
46, there it is.
Oh, and this pool no longer exists. That pool is not there.
Oh, it isn't?
No,
Oh, that's interesting.
when I bought the house, I got two prices to fill in the pool. I mean, to fix the pool, and it was over $20,000.
Well, I'll have to pull it up on the computer, I don't know why it's not in the file. I mean, I certainly have no interest in getting people in here
No,
to make, wetlands applications that don't need.
Yeah,
Let me pull
there
it up.
is issues we've come up with before, not in your house, but in other properties,
Yeah.
where there are two maps and they show difference to the wetlands. So without the pool, so that's not existent,
non-existent.
this is what you're trying to build.
Yes,
And the question is this within 75 feet of the wetlands? Clearly, it's not to here.
yeah,
It might be to here, but it's not measured. We would need to see,
When
I
it's, you get us a scale that when it's equals 50 feet.
oh, there you go.
Right.
yeah, okay.
It is.
No, it's at least
It's-
100.
Yeah, it's 50 feet.
so if you're using this line.
Well,
as
no,
If-
50 feet, and then, you even double it from here.
You're right. It's a lot further to here, but to
Yeah.
this, it's 50 feet. If that's
Okay.
the wetlands we're going to go by. And I'm not sure it is.
This
So,
is the one from the map,
as
the
I
recent
said,
one?
Mr. Murphy's entire house is in, and it's, as he said, the entire neighborhood is in
Yeah, that's what you had said in the
poorly
email,
drained
that's
soil.
right.
So the purple area,
Mm-hmm.
according to the Department of Energy Environmental Protection, says poorly drained and very poorly drained soils.
Mm-hmm.
This entire area. This is Mr. Murphy's lot. So although it may not look wet, and this particular map doesn't show that it's wetlands. In fact, the wetlands on this map stop here,
Exactly.
which is up here.
Mhm.
However, the Department of Environmental Protection has said, well, sorry. Now, as we've done in the past, the option, and you're building a pool, was it?
No, a deck.
No,
You're
the-
building- okay.
just a
So-
deck. The pool is
Yeah.
not there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, it'll be the commission's decision. It depends on if you want to go ahead and let it, go ahead and.
You're gonna have footings.
Were
I
all
mean,
these houses built before the DEP report came out? They must have been.
Honestly, couldn't tell.
Well, first of all, the DEP didn't even check wetlands until '74, but there was no regulations on wetlands until 1974. So
Yeah, and these
any house,
houses are
any house built
probably
before
older.
then, there was no,
Stipulations at all.
no
Mhm.
question about it. I mean, you
Yeah,
didn't even have to come, there was
Well,
no
in
mistake.
this room that juts out right here is on pillars also.
Is this going to be on pillars?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, well, that's good too.
it is, but
So the question, I'm sorry to interrupt, but the question will be for the commission, is this going to have anything but a minimal impact on the?
I think that's why I asked you, you're gonna have footings, you're gonna have the calm footings. You're
Yeah.
not gonna, so you're gonna have, maybe three footings, roughly 3 or 4 footings?
it's here.
Because you need 2 for the stairs, and then the stairs, I'll take their own, is 1, 2, 3, 5.
5 footings and they go down 40 inches, because you have
42.
42, right. And the footings like a 2 foot by 2 foot? I don't see up
The
there.
normal big foot.
Well, I'm just saying how much of the wetlands that can be perturbed, how much it can be disturbed. And from what I can see, and you're gonna do this by machine, correct? And you're gonna have a pile, you're gonna be able to pile it and use filtration screen so things don't. I personally, I think it's minimal.
I,
I
Agreed.
would concur also,
Yeah.
especially because it is
Yeah,
in
I
the
think it's more.
ground.
well, just to keep things correct for our records, do you, are we gonna call this wetlands, Rochelle, on the, in terms of his application, it says disturbed wetlands area 0. But if you believe the map you just showed us, it's
It's not zero.
It's not 0,
Right.
it's 12 by 24.
But is it actually, and that's where I also got confused on the number, because I'm not actually disturbing 12 by 24, because just the footings are gonna disturb it.
Right.
Now,
I think
if
it's
you,
sort of
let me-
minimal, you know.
And
I
total
wonder if you go
wetlands
down
on the
42 inches
area-
if you hit water.
Okay, total
You
wetlands
know?
on the property is
Wait,
actually
what
96.
was that?
I was wondering if you went down 42 inches, would you hit water? Would you hit any groundwater?
I can tell you that on this room here, so when I moved in, we had to fix these footings, because
Yeah, what?
we had to fix, the room next to it is on footings also.
Uh-huh.
It's a raised room, and we had to fix them because the previous homeowner thought he could work on his own, and they weren't 6 inches in the ground. I can move the room with my foot. So they are now 42 inches in the ground, and we did not hit an ounce of water.
Okay.
And when did you do that? How many years ago?
6?
Oh, 6 years ago?
Okay, so,
And there could have been a permit on file at one point for a deck. I doubt it with the previous homeowner, because there were footings in the ground for
Well,
this.
you know, honestly, if you,
Uh,
if
for the
There
deck?
were footings in the ground for
There
the
were,
deck
there
that,
were, but
was there a deck there originally,
It's
do you
hard
think?
to tell. It looks like maybe he was preparing to put a deck there. I wouldn't have trusted those footings with anything on top of them. So they're no longer in the ground there.
well, I am a little confused about what to do about the application. It's not a major thing, but if we go by that map, the total wetlands on the property is the same .96 acreage as the total footage of the property.
That's correct. You could have the applicant change that right now on
Okay.
the application and sign
What
it
I'm
again.
gonna make a couple of
Initial it.
changes,
Okay.
and I'm gonna ask you to initial them.
Got it.
Yeah, so
Point.
.96 total wetlands on the
Okay.
property, correct.
There is no water courses, so that's correct. The disturbed wetlands area,
12 to 12 by 24.
well, is it going to be, or is it just going to be the
It's just
footing?
the footings
Well,
are
I would
It's
say
just
that
the,
Chairman,
footing.
Also, you know, you are shading
Yeah, so
that
I guess
entire
the
Yeah,
area.
whole
so 12 by 24.
I think it's safest to put that, yeah.
square feet.
288. Did I do the 268? No, 288.
Wait, go back and try to get, does anybody have a calculator?
You know,
Yes, you do.
Uh,
See, this is what
I've gotta
happens
tell you
with
something.
modern technology.
I got 100.
288.
I'm
288
like-
is the right
It is 288, yeah. I got 100 on my math regents in high school. I have forgotten everything because of this.
So what is it, 180?
288 square feet.
Okay. And we're doing that because of
'Cause it's shading.
shading,
Yeah.
right, okay.
This will be, we'll keep this copy of your application. Do we need to change it on the original application in his file? Probably that's the better.
Yeah,
Well, I'll have Christine do that. We'll
Yeah.
make a note,
Okay.
in the minutes, and so Christine will know
All right.
to.
So if, upland review, that's not applicable to disturbed, upland review area, we'll just leave it as
Yep.
that. And if you could just initial,
yeah.
the changes I made.
Want to date it?
I can do it.
Yeah, date it.
Yeah, good for you.
Thank you.
All right, very good. Now, as you know, we can't approve it in any case in the same.
You need
first
to,
meeting.
we need 2 weeks.
We have, we
Yeah,
have to
next
wait.
meeting will,
Next
September 26th, I
So,
believe,
I would make a motion to.
And incidentally, Brian doesn't have to come back for it, I don't think.
No, I don't, unless there's any major problems, but you're right. I'd like to make a motion to continue 46 Knollcrest Drive, item W 22-30, until the next scheduled meeting.
I second that.
Okay.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. So, if you would like to come, you're more than welcome. We have,
But-
as you could tell, we have a lot of fun here every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Bring a donuts next
But-
time.
No.
But it's not necessary.
Okay, and then I'll get notified when it's approved?
Yes, and it'll be published, so it's the day after publication, but they'll do that pretty promptly.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
you'll get a notification through OpenGov that it.
Okay, and then it should just go to my building.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, Rochelle, do you want
Take care
to?
of yourself.
Start that now, I mean, it's.
I started the building permit, that's what red flagged it,
Oh,
because
right.
you reviewed it, and that's where it came
All right, let's put on.
Thank you.
Rochelle, you want to keep this where he?
Yeah, you can just put it back to file, Christine will go.
Oh, it is right here, okay, I
Yes,
was,
thank
I
you.
thought you still had it. Okay,
Thanks very much.
And this is the new, but I think the applicant has drawings, so we don't need,
okay.
we may not need.
All right, so the next item, 90 South Lake Shore Drive, and I assume, gentlemen, you're here. If we could get your names and addresses, and then.
Sure thing.
Do we-
Robert,
Why don't you move that chair over, and then you could put your board on that, and
I'll put the board on, use that as an easel for you.
yeah, and you can explain to us what you're doing.
Sure
And-
thing. First and foremost, Robert Sherwood, landscape architect, with an office here in Brookfield,
Okay,
246 Federal Road. With me tonight is Michael Smariglio, the owner of the property.
mhm.
And
Hi, Michael.
thank you. We are here tonight, 90 Lake Shore, South Lake Shore. The applicant recently purchased it. Want to do some landscape improvements to the property, one of them being some of the main points. There's an existing terrace, just kind of hugging the 440
Hey,
line.
could you give me just a second? I'm
Sure.
looking for something that I noticed in your application, and it's not a major thing, but you left out the line about what it is you wanted to do. I'm sure you're gonna tell us, and
Parking,
we'll
sure.
write it in, but,
You can look in the, if you can't find, look in the file itself.
yeah, would you, unless I missed it. That's why I couldn't figure out exactly what we were, is this the original?
Yeah, that's the original there, so.
Okay. Property type residential, and the next line is purpose and description of activities, and there's nothing there.
Where are you here? Oh, yeah,
So-
purpose and description.
Basically, so basically, if you could just,
Yeah, well,
you're adding a
I
deck,
can-
you're adding a,
I can write it in for you.
yeah, if you would, and initial it, and then we'll have well, at least this area right here, right under that line, purpose and
Missed it.
what it is you're, then you can explain it to us.
Okay. So, your landscape improvements to existing terrace. Renovation. Expansion of deck. And third.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for that, I apologize.
That's
So-
all right.
Okay, what does he wants to do then?
Landscape improvements to existing terrace, I'm missing your first word.
Probably renovation.
Oh, renovation, expansion of deck,
Of an existing deck.
and
And
creation
we
of,
want to create a gravel parking area. or
Parking
full
area.
Parking area for.
Okay.
for ten-
that's
for
what,
clients.
it actually said that in our.
One of the applications, it did, that's why I was
Yeah,
confused. I know I filled
But
out
that's
two
the
different
official
ones.
application, I just wanna make sure we know, okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Not a problem, I apologize. So 90 South Lake Shore Drive, we access Lake Shore Drive. There's a detached garage up here. There is a driveway off of there. There is a secondary entrance through easements that comes off Kellogg, which comes down the side of the two properties, and he has a little bit of a driveway that is shared between the next door neighbor as well. 90A, that's technically called. What we're focusing on is three major things I'd like to call it. One, renovation of this existing terrace. Two, there's gonna be an interior renovation of this space into a kitchen, which the architect has decided to bump this deck out, and I have plans for that. More minor note, this existing walkway, this existing large terrace space that's in the front of the house, we're gonna remove and have a simple walkway put in there.
The walkway exists now. There's a walkway that exists. Correct,
Yeah,
okay.
this is existing, all this gray that I've shown on the map, we're actually gonna remove, and I'll show you what we're gonna put in, it's much
Okay.
more simple. This is not graded properly, it's, in the wintertime, it's very steep and will be slippery.
Just
It-
quickly, you did say there's gonna be,
And then,
you pointed out some stuff on somebody else's property with easements?
no, there's an existing driveway
Okay.
here that the applicant has the right to utilize for a little bit of a parking area on
But
the
you're
side
not
of his
gonna do
house.
anything on your neighbor's property?
No.
Okay, very good.
Oh,
No,
now,
no, we would need them to apply.
No, no,
Okay,
The walkway in, you're not changing the footprint, you're just,
change the footprint a little bit, we're actually ripping this out, and it's gonna be much smaller, so I'll go to the next.
so
page.
it's gonna be smaller in terms of the physicality?
can I go back to something that I just noticed, very minor, but you've got something close to the lake. The lake is where? The lake is,
The 440 line is,
Right,
there's
yeah.
two on this map,
Okay.
there's one
I
a
was gonna
little bit lower, and then they're
yeah, I was gonna
dictating
say,
this
that's what I
one's
was
a little
gonna
higher.
suggest, or ask about.
Which one is
We
correct?
can't do anything about approving anything below the 440 line.
Right, that's
That has
first
to
light.
Come from First Light.
Right, we,
So you know.
we're in the process with them,
Okay,
Good luck.
yes.
all right,
Yes,
I'm sorry.
even the application process.
I know.
So yes, I understand that. We're gonna show you what we're gonna do here, which is, it's very simple, in terms of the plan. What I'm showing here on this plan is, I apologize, the only area that I showed kind of the overlay of the existing deck compared to the new deck on the demolition plan. You know, all this terrace work is coming out, but this orange line is the existing deck, and the blue is where we're expanding the deck, because there's gonna be some new doors out here, and this is being the what's
Okay.
called the heart
So
of
the existing
kitchen.
deck stays, you're adding to it?
Yeah, well, we're actually making it smaller in some areas
Oh,
along
okay.
here, and then we're adding,
So are you tearing
To
it
the-
down
to
and
the north.
rebuilding?
I
existing deck.
think a lot of it, the structure is going to, all the decking is gonna be removed.
Okay.
Some of the terrace, the structure in here, we might be able to keep, but I think it's gonna have to be.
But there's gonna be
around-
work on it?
Yeah, definitely.
What's the square footage of the original versus
So the new.
what you plan to do?
Right, I have that, I have, we'll get to that, we have, the existing deck is around 1,215 square feet, and the new deck is around 1,745.
So about
500 square feet.
500
Yeah.
square foot
Addition.
addition. However, with the existing walks that I showed you, removing the walkways, removing here of that impervious surface, we're actually have a net loss of what we're going to build for hardscape. So we have about a 400 square foot net loss, so we're pretty
You're
balanced.
balanced, you're balanced.
Pretty balanced.
Yeah.
Simple math, we're pretty balanced. We have about 1,800 square feet of existing walkways that are going to be removed, and we're building about 1,480. So we have about 400 square feet there.
What are you building it out of?
The new material will probably be the same material, bluestone,
Okay.
slate, whatever you want to call it.
But the 400 feet you're gaining will be pervious
It'd be
surface.
it'd be pervious or impervious?
Yeah, the deck will, I
The
don't know
deck
what-
is in there, but you're gaining 400 feet of grass, planting area?
Planting area, mostly.
Okay.
Yep. So what we have down below, you saw the arched terrace here. We'd like to square that off to be a little bit more in line with the house for formality, just to create an outdoor sitting area. And we'd like to create an outdoor, what we're calling the outdoor living room, which would have a pergola structure, pre-manufactured pergola structure, probably like powder-coated aluminum or something of that nature for weather resistant. and associated with that would be an outdoor fireplace. And that's down and through here. The septic system for the property is between the deck and this terrace and the 440 line. We've gone through the health department already. They've kind of looked at our preliminary plans for the B100 compliant. We're not doing anything that's going to impact that. Then we look back at the deck, and you can see this hatched area as being the new deck, and I have some elevations from the architect on that.
Not that it makes any difference to us, but what about the reserve, your septic reserve, is that gonna interfere?
You know, it's all right in this area.
The reserve is off, okay.
Yeah, yep, they
Maybe
figured out
we
a
would want
technique.
a letter, you said that you've already run this by the health department?
Yeah, we want it through Paul Avery.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
well,
we'd
that's-
want that letter, you
Yeah,
know, just,
I mean, I don't see it as a problem, but that's something they do. We don't
We don't
get
know.
involved in the.
That, if.
Right,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
exactly.
We don't have,
Yeah, it doesn't
It's
involve.
not-
If you
know
needed to
where it
build
is.
a.
Yeah, no,
wetland
it's,
in that
it's
wetlands.
not-
we'd
we've
have
already
to
done
approve
that
it.
research.
But
Okay.
we don't need to.
Had the engineer out
Okay.
there.
Deal with their permits.
So,
Go ahead.
removing the walkways, remember there's the big walk, there was, and I have some pictures of it, there's like this outdoor terrace here that's technically the front of their property, we don't need. So as you can see, we're doing a simple 4-foot walk coming down to the front door here. I've grouped a series of steps within it to transition that grade, so it's much safer. We're gonna light those steps, be much more flat in between. And then we've taken out some other walkways. And so that's where you have that net reduction in impervious areas there. The new parking area, which would be created up in this, there's a grass sloped area on this side of the property. We would have to build a series of retaining walls. Those walls are gonna be 4 feet high. And then I'm showing a walkway, again, coming down, so guests could
From
come
the
down.
cars to the
They could
front door.
park in here and then really utilize the front door
Okay.
instead of parking.
Are there any wetlands on that property?
Yeah, that was my next question. I'm glad you
Is
asked
there
it.
any wetlands?
Other
No
than the
wetlands
lake.
on the property, no, just in the
The lake.
setback from the lake.
Yeah. Now, that's a dock, I assume, though.
Yeah, the existing docks,
Are
some of this dock plan is already into First Light.
Okay,
There was a dock there.
okay.
We're proposing to renovate it. This,
And that you'll get from First Light?
yeah,
Okay.
we're in the process now.
I mean, our concern, as you probably know, is not so much the little stuff you're doing with the house, but protecting the lake.
Right.
So could you go over a little bit with what you propose in terms of
Sure.
protection for the lake? Any work, where you're gonna put your, if you need to stockpile any material,
All right, I
or where you're gonna do,
Sure, I
fence?
didn't necessarily show soil stockpile, I did show silt fence and putting a silt fence line. There's an existing wall that's right here on this property. We're gonna put silt fence as close to it, if not below it, and wrap it up the side. As we build this, I show a silt fence line, double silt fence in through here. I could show a temporary staging area. There's not, as they excavate this, it's gonna have to be an excavate and haul out the
Yep.
same day. There's really no area to put
Are
it.
you gonna need any heavy equipment to do anything behind the house?
By the
Behind
lake?
the house, this terrace, no, it's
Could it all be done by hand, or are you gonna
No.
use a little?
usually a mini excavator or?
mini excavator would probably come down, and we're gonna regrade the side of this garage, so it's a little bit better pitch, and he can sneak down in through here for, I would assume mostly for the footings for the deck would be for that. The excavation that's really necessary to do here would be minimal. I mean, we're digging out and putting down base for a new terrace. It's not footing depth, anything like that. We might have, a little bit of a footing for the fireplace.
Well, have you done I haven't seen it yet, but have you done a sequence, a construction sequence?
Yeah, yep, I submitted a construction sequence. It is,
Yeah, I think
it
it's
is,
in the file there, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
it doesn't go into detail that we're, gonna excavate
Oh,
for
here it
the
is.
fireplace and X, Y, Z, but it's,
well, there's a couple of things, disturbance limits and denote resources to be protected, silt fencing and sediment, a minor thing, but after you install the silt fence and before you start working, you have to call the land use department, they'll come out and inspect the silt fence. And that should be a note here, in
Okay.
the course of construction, shrub and tree protected company, clean. Okay, if you could, and you can get this to us next week, if you could add that little item about calling, after installing the silt fence, next item, call land use department for inspection.
Sure, absolutely.
Then, the other thing is if you could make a note, either put it on the plan or just make a note in the construction sequence that any dirt will either be removed off-site, any stockpiling will be done on the paved parking lot there, or wherever you
Yeah, there's,
are going to.
there's not a whole lot of area.
I understand.
The septic system, we're not gonna
Yeah, you don't wanna-
stockpile anything on top of that.
You don't wanna
so
do that.
It is,
And a note would be appreciated that if you are gonna use any construction equipment like a mini excavator, anywhere near a bobcat behind the house, anywhere near the lake, that it be free of all dripping of oil, that it's inspected on a daily basis.
and
That'd be,
I will put it on there
Yeah.
that we're stored outside of the 200-foot buffer, or something like that, so they can walk it up and store it on.
yeah.
Any fueling,
That's-
anything like that, refueling.
You understand, our main concern as a commission is to keep that lake as clean as possible.
Yeah,
Right.
my main concern is not getting in any trouble.
Yeah, well, we're
And having a
keeping,
clean lake.
we're keeping the lake clean for you.
Thank you.
You want to see it look nice when you look out your window and sit on your deck, and it looks like it's going to be a very beautiful property. It is a beautiful property.
You know, the terrace, wasn't there a question about the 440 line, although it's already there?
It is, there's a
Yeah.
little bit of it that
Yeah.
skirts
So he's going to
over.
need permission from First Light to do that little bit of work inside the 440. And yes, we're aware of how difficult it is to work with them. We've
Would
done
we
it over the
need
years.
permission, would we need to see the permission from First Light before we can make
It
a
will be in,
decision?
it will be in our approval that anything in the 440 has First Light approval
Okay,
before
yeah.
the work is done. That's the usual way. And we know how hard it is to get that piece of paper. We've sent them letters saying, sign this, so we know you did it. And they'll say, well, maybe, maybe not. You approve it first, then we'll approve it. And we say, you approve it first, then we'll approve it.
Chicken and
we've-
egg, if you will.
We've gone weeks with
before the
them on
horse.
that.
My only question there is just a little bit of work that's being done near the 440 line,
Mhm.
but there's a lot of other work that's doing outside of the 440.
Yeah, and that's our concern. And like I say, we're concerned with the way the work is done, that it's done to an extent that it isn't going to do anything that would be detrimental to the lake. And any other wetlands that might be on the property, but it doesn't seem like there is.
No.
So, although technically you need our permission to do anything within 200 feet of Candlewood Lake. And where is 200 feet? Do you have that, did you
Oh,
draw
yeah,
that
just
line
showed it.
there?
This was the red line up in through here.
Okay,
So
okay,
the whole property.
yeah,
within
so
there.
we don't,
So actually, part of the proposed parking area is out of,
Yeah, a little bit is outside, most of it was within. the
Yeah,
purview.
okay.
Again, we're alongside of this new terrace, we are removing grass. We're gonna do some mitigation plantings for that, try to pitch
Yeah,
that
I
terrace into that.
clearly there's significant work within the, within our review area. But,
And there's some of the existing pictures that you can see.
oh
Here's
yeah,
the
good,
existing
I'm glad
terrace.
you included those.
You know, you're looking back at the property and the existing deck that's there. So just tried to show you, here's that existing terrace in the front of the property here that's going to be removed. There's no reason really to have it. It's a little walkway to the front door, nobody's gonna sit back there when you have a lake to look at.
you have a nice lake to sit by.
And it's also kind of northeast side of the house. And this is that area where we're thinking about the sloped lawn for the parking area and then some steps down.
Okay, so you're in the process of getting your
First Light.
permit
Use
from
permit for
First Light?
First Light, yeah.
You've already talked to the septic, to the health
Your
department about the
sanitary.
septic. Either of you gentlemen have any other questions?
No, I think the big thing is just that terrace
Mhm.
more than anything
Yeah.
else. And you know, when they work on the parking area, you know, just make sure they control the debris.
Rochelle, do you have any thoughts or anything to add to this?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, I do. I have a few questions for the applicant. Mr. Sherwood, I noticed you're installing, is there a generator going in there too? Is that existing?
No,
It's not
there's,
existing.
there's no generators, currently. We are proposing to put a generator, and I apologize for not talking about that. We're thinking about the generator to be near the detached garage, in that location.
And that will be on a slab or one of those pre-form, or we don't know yet?
I don't know how big it is. I would assume it's gonna be at least on a gravel
Yeah.
bed with one of those plastic slabs underneath it.
Good.
I don't know if they need a concrete one.
Will you need to trench to get the wires into the house?
Yeah, and that.
I was
that-
gonna ask what
takes
that
me also
generator was gonna
concomitantly to
service.
the-
What was that, I'm sorry?
That takes me also concomitantly to the gas line for the propane tank. Is the propane tank going to be buried or above ground?
That is a good question. I am showing.
It might say there, but I can't read it.
Yeah, there is, we're
500
proposing to
gallon.
put a 500-gallon propane tank. This is that side slope, and we're gonna bury a tank in there. We're gonna obviously use it for the generator, as well as use it for the house,
So you'll be
stove.
trenching then?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, trenching and digging out.
Yeah. So
And
there'll
you'll be
be a-
trenching all the way down to the fireplace, which is my next point.
And-
Yeah.
Yes, we'd like to have a gas starter,
Mhm.
on that fireplace.
Yep. Okay, I mean, I'm just curious about the fireplace itself. Are you aware of other similar fireplaces on the lake currently? I mean, I just don't know, and I'm not putting you on the spot, I'm just curious. Is this pretty typical of people on Kenilwood Lake to have a fireplace at the lake?
An exterior fireplace. I've seen a few.
Yep.
More and more clients want that
Right.
outdoor
Outdoor kitchen,
living and
right.
stuff style.
I'm just curious, I don't even know what our zoning regulations say about that, but, you know, you're only here for wetlands, so we'll worry about that later.
Yeah, the only trick was just to get a gas started, and then
Yeah.
once it's light, shut it off.
Yeah.
It just helps outside
Right, sure,
started.
sure.
Yeah,
The generator, though, is not gonna service the terrace.
What's that statement again?
It's only gonna service the house, not the
He's asking if
terrace.
there's gonna be an electric
Oh,
line.
no, it's good,
run
well,
on-
it would, I don't know what size we're choosing. I don't know if it's large enough to run the whole house or just the essentials.
Mhm.
So,
I can add on that. The
Yeah.
house currently has a generator panel in the house, but it was a portable generator.
Mhm.
So that really wasn't gonna work, so I can't change all the zones. So there's a separate panel in the house that, for the major appliances and.
Yeah.
and
so you
AC.
probably need like a little 22 kilowatt generator, something like that, that would run the well, run the,
Yeah,
some of the
right,
heat
right,
zones.
right, the essentials,
the
yeah.
essentials.
But
It's-
you're not gonna do anything with the
22
terrace?
kilowatts, that's a lot.
Okay.
That's a lot. I don't
That's a
know
lot.
if they make a smaller one or not
Yeah,
nowadays.
for sure.
But yeah, something small
Yeah.
where, I said that because I just used one
No,
of
20,
them.
Yeah,
I thought
that's
that
a
sounds
big
really
one.
small, 22, I mean, it sounds very small to me, I don't know.
So, we can get you a little more detail on that.
That's fine, I'm just mostly, you know, curious about these other, you know, things that just were not mentioned. So then I noticed too, you have, several, new, appears to be new, outdoor, AC units. It looks like you have a place for 4 of those.
Yes, currently we have 2 of them are on the back side of the deck, and we're gonna relocate them.
I see. Okay,
With relocating them, we might need 2 locations just because of the runs of the coolant line. So I did show a spot for 2 different
I see.
sections to put 2 of them.
I see.
I don't think we need 4,
mm-hmm.
but we might need 1 and 1.
Understood, okay. And then my final question, I suppose, would be really, I notice, on the deck, there's a square. Is that going to be a hot tub?
Yeah, that is a proposed location for a manufactured hot tub,
Mhm.
one you would buy.
So on top of the,
Yeah,
on top of the deck? Mhm. Okay.
A grade level.
Okay, so this particular deck is at grade, or
The-
you're saying that the entrance to the hot tub will be at grade? So the,
I believe so, because I think our footage is what, a foot deep?
Yeah, it's gonna,
so you have to climb up into it, or you're gonna be, yeah,
from what
yeah.
I understand, yes. The
Yeah.
deck is, the grading here, obviously it's going uphill,
mhm.
so when we build this deck, it's very close to grade,
Okay,
almost
got it.
stepping out, so
Got
it'll
it,
be
got it.
on top.
Mm,
So the
okay.
deck is only like a foot off the ground here,
I
and it comes out to like a full 8 feet over on this side of the property.
Okay.
Something we look for when you have a hot tub or a pool or something near the lake, that there's not any backwash that comes out, or if it ever is drained to be cleaned, that there's no possibility that the water goes into the lake.
Yeah, we do have some recommendations that I've devised just from, various best management practices for the,
Okay.
you
Do
know.
you want us to put those on the plan or something like that?
That would be
In the
certainly
notes?
Yeah.
helpful, I think, that would certainly go into the
Yeah.
approval if
I would appreciate it.
we approve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That would be good.
I don't know if it's, I didn't know the spot was 100%.
We're proposing it, so.
Proposing, yeah.
The
you
goal
might
is-
as well.
Yeah.
We propose the moon.
Yeah, and you don't have to build what you put on here, but if you think you might,
Yes.
you'd better
That's
put
our
it,
goal.
it's just easier than coming back to us.
No, show it all to you, that's what we're here for.
Okay, I think those are all my questions, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, good catches. I
Thank
hadn't
you,
noticed the generator. All right, gentlemen, any
Okay.
other comments? Okay.
Continue.
Then I'll
You know,
take-
with the hot tub, it isn't really our purview, but
Yes,
do you
it
have to have
is.
a fence around it or something, to make sure?
No.
They,
that's a safety fence.
the ones you purchase, the manufactured ones have a cover that meets the ASTM.
You don't want some kid coming over and
No.
falling in?
No, they cover and they latch for a code of some sort.
Okay.
It's
Um,
not the same as a pool.
Right, this doesn't really pertain to wetlands,
No.
but just out
Okay.
of curiosity.
All right, let's move on. Do you have, can I get a motion to continue this item? Is that in front of you?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Either way.
I make a motion to continue 90 South Lake Shore Drive, number W-22-39, terrace and parking area, and date of receipt, September 12th, 2022, and to our next meeting, which will be September 26th, 2022.
Very good.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you very much. We will see you
Good
in
luck.
2 weeks.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're going to do the few things we asked about on,
I'm writing them down right
oh,
now.
okay.
Yep, yep.
Very good. On the paperwork.
Now, do I notify any neighbors of any of this? So this is, I'm
It-
new to Brookfield and
Okay,
decided to be here.
it will be published,
Okay,
so your neighbors will know about it.
okay.
And that's one of the reasons the state requires us to give at least 2 weeks from the first application before we're allowed to approve it, in case anyone
He's in
has a
Osterfield,
comment.
right.
Right, so
Well,
this-
I don't think we could do it, but there are public hearings sometimes on, I don't know that would happen here.
No,
So when you say published, do they each get letters? Does it go to the newspaper?
Yes, when once we announce approval of something, yeah, it's published, and then it's effective to you the day after the
Okay,
publication.
all right.
The complication here is with First Light, however.
Yes.
You have a chicken and egg
Mhm.
scenario.
Is this the first time you've been in the area
Yes,
with the house?
yeah.
Where are you?
Born and raised in Greenwich.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
But we do have family up in Brookfield,
Okay.
and we just had some grandkids, so just
Just
really looking forward.
Coming to the north side of the county.
Oh, no, you're gonna like this much better than Greenwich, trust me.
I was born and raised in Greenwich, so
This is
it's
Greenwich.
it's a little bit
It's
different.
Greenwich North.
Yes.
Trust
Welcome.
me, being an ex-builder in Greenwich, this is nothing compared.
I can imagine.
I know my ex-husband was involved in construction.
But again, I appreciate everything and
Greenwich.
whatever we need to do, and Rob's taking great care of us.
Yeah,
so I
I'm sure
appreciate
he'll
it.
get it done, get it right. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
All right.
Take
good
care.
meeting you. We'll see you in 2
See you in a
weeks.
couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
All right, moving on, was there any correspondence?
We also want to go back to the Code of Ethics
Oh,
form,
yes.
perhaps?
Um,
Sorry to,
That's all right, you're right. Rochelle, did you ever figure out why the code of ethics form
Yeah,
is
I mean,
on this?
so apparently, and this is, I don't, it was weird, because the way it came to me was not exactly straightforward, but apparently the first select woman requested that each of the commissions review the code of ethics at its meetings,
And
which I
it-
think is in our packet.
It's a
Um,
fairly
It's fairly
long document.
It's fairly long.
I'm not sure if we want to review it
I
at.
don't know if we have to, I mean,
Is there a time limit?
And then we also have to sign something at the bottom,
let me
last
see if I can-
page.
Let me just see if I can call up her email, because it was
Well,
strange.
that's the individual. We each have already signed this
Right, correct.
when we were appointed to the
Right,
commission.
right.
We may have
So
to
is she
still
looking-
sign this again.
So, well,
Although you're right, it's redundant.
yeah, is she looking for,
Yeah,
Recommended
I
changes?
must tell you that she didn't actually tell me what she wanted. I didn't even get a copy. I didn't even know it was gonna go on the agenda. I see that, where did it
and
go?
there's no deadline?
No, there's no particular deadline. I assume, and of course, that's always the worst thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my specific question is she looking for suggestions of changes? Is she asking for us to?
Yeah, so, so I guess, so the chairwoman has written, on, September 2nd, please add the code of ethics to the agenda. Make it the last item on the agenda so we can deal with, any other new business.
And that came from Sharon?
Yes, and she said, don't include the first select woman's details in the agenda. Obviously, she probably didn't have that in mind. Now, I didn't ever get the email from this first select woman, so I was not privy to, I didn't even know it was going, but it's been on everyone's agenda,
I think she probably expected to be here when she wrote that.
possibly. So she said, so the chairwoman said she would talk to, I'll talk to her about the request to be sure everyone is aware, on the ethics paperwork, and that's really all I have.
Mhm.
So I have no idea I'm assuming it's just a review to make sure that, you all still agree with it. Perhaps if you had suggestions or suggestions for changes in the code of ethics,
Mhm.
because this is a charter review year,
Yeah.
so it may have something to do with that, but
All right,
we'll
well,
have to table it, I think.
what I guess I can do as the vice chair at the moment is ask, and myself to reread the code of ethics and to bring to our next meeting any thoughts or suggestions you have for
Yeah.
changes, or if you are
Yeah.
comfortable with it, and be prepared to discuss it.
That sounds good.
Okay, well, make it as an official motion.
I don't think it needs a motion. It's not an action item. I think
Yeah.
it's just something we can do.
Right.
We'll just save it and bring it back next
Yeah.
time.
Was there any other correspondence or
Um,
that we need to review?
was there more, let's see, what did I have here? Yes, Mr. Chairman, there was, I'm afraid. So I just got an email and a phone call today from the Connecticut Department of Environmental Protection. They received an application from the people at the, what is it called, Carriage Homes on the Pond Association. You may be familiar with them. There's a pond that they have, you may
Is-
have one of these for fun.
Is that, they want to do something in their pond?
Yes, so
with-
they have in the past put herbicide in
Yeah.
the pond, but now they have a new idea, and they want to put carp in, this is really not necessary, but this is the consent form. So they want to put carp into the pond, and apparently it needs, our permission, or actually, I should say, I would say it probably needs both the Wetlands Commission's permission, because technically speaking, they're doing an activity directly in wetlands.
Mhm.
And it also, I dare say, needs the approval of the, either the first select woman or the board of select people because, the pond apparently is partly on,
Town.
Town of Brookfield land. So if you're gonna have fish swimming around in our pond, we wanna know about it.
Mhm.
So I would say that, you know, we don't have to act on this tonight because it's just come to me today, but I think we'll have to make a we can read this, I can, send around to everyone. There was an informative, flyer about the program, you know, why use carp, what they do, how long, they apparently live for like 10 to 20 years, these carp. You know, I asked what was his name now? I asked the man from the deep, you know, if this is a recommended, you know, is this better than herbicides and all? And he said, you know, yeah, I mean, it seems like, you know, it's more effective because it continues, whereas the herbicide lasts a couple of days. You have to reapply it, the carp are there all the time. But one of the challenges is managing how many carp to put in, because sometimes people put too many, and then, you know, you actually kind of, you know, destroy the too much vegetation, so. Anyway, but so we'll have to, I think, I will read the packet to see what, you know, what the program is about, but, they of course do want, you know, I guess the best time to put these carp in is in October, so if we could hopefully act on this, you know, at the next meeting, and
Well, this application is to the state, not to us.
it is to the state, but,
Do we get an application from them?
no, we don't get an application,
Okay.
but if we want to go ahead and sign it, because there is, so, if you'll notice, did I give you the application itself?
No,
So this is,
Yeah, that's right.
well, yeah, but geographically, where is
consent
this thing?
so anyway, look, it just came to me today, this is what I would recommend. I would say that the commission doesn't necessarily, because it's, you know, it's being overseen by the deep, I would just say that the commission needs to say, yeah, we're all for it, if that's what you're for. And then, though, I would have to take it to the Board of Select, like, we would basically write a recommendation to the Board of Select people, you know, saying that, you know, we support this application, because it can't really be signed by us, because we're not the owners of the land.
It'd
What
be
does the
nice
carp
to know
do?
where carriage houses on the
They
pond.
eat the
The
weeds.
invasive species mainly, and the algae, they eat the algae.
Yeah.
Because it's always covered with algae.
Okay.
And I asked him if you can fish these carp, and he said they're not the kind that people would want to fish. They're not
You wouldn't want to eat them.
edible.
They're not.
They come from
Edible.
Kentucky for some reason, which I would consider an invasive.
Kentucky fried
Or
carp.
not native species.
Now, is this fence exist? It obviously does. It's a picture of it.
Yeah, and so there's all kinds of regulations that have to be followed.
Yeah,
They
because
have to put us-
if the pond has an access to you don't want the
Right.
carp getting out and getting
Right,
into
so
the
they
Still
had to
River.
install some kind of a sieve or something
Yeah.
like that, yeah.
I went through that with my pond
Oh,
in my home.
mhm.
It is, we didn't use carp, we got other kinds of fish, but it was
Oh.
quite a process.
So, I mean, as I say,
Could you get the address of this so we know what we're
I
dealing
think
with?
it's on there.
oh, yeah, it's there.
You know, it has a Danbury address,
Well,
and
that's
then,
Rockledge Pond Road.
where is it?
Rockledge Pond Road.
Where do you see that?
Rowledge, R-O-W,
Oh, that's the supplier, hold
oh,
on.
that's the supplier. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah, no, the actual,
Yeah, where it
and
is-
you had said this was mostly in Danbury, so I don't
No,
think
it's not in Danbury at all.
it isn't in Danbury at all.
No, the Department of Energy has a office in Danbury. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The Carriage Homes on the Pond Association is managed by a REA Property Management in Danbury.
Yeah, so where are they in Brookfield? That would be nice
So-
to know.
Well, the Carriage Homes on the Pond Association is, I thought it was located, that there's something called the Carriage Homes on the Pond. Where is that? It's on the Carriage Road or something, Carriage Lane. I remember them coming, asking for that,
Carriage Homes on the Pond, Brookfield,
yeah, it's-
Connecticut.
It's Carriage Lane.
Gated community in Brookfield, Carriage House Lane, Brookfield.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
Condos for sale.
Oh, they're condos?
Yeah, they're condo, it's a
Yeah, they're,
condo
I
community.
think I think they're condo homes though.
And we've approved, we
Yes.
get this every year
Yes.
to approve the, putting the,
Carp in?
not the carp, the
The
chemicals.
herbicide,
The herbicide, thank you,
right, it's called Carriage House Lane.
okay?
Where is it located?
It is located,
Off of 25 West Wisconsin,
I can show you a map, it's very close to Newtown.
yeah, Hawleyville Road. You
Oh,
come
yeah.
down 25, before you get to 84, it's off to the left.
Yeah, so where is it?
Yeah, I've got it here. It's right here, that's it. This,
Carriage House Lane, it's all of these back here, and this is the pond, I guess.
Yeah.
And apparently Brookfield owns part of it. This is, I think this is the railroad track, isn't it?
Looks like it could be, yeah.
yeah,
So part of that is in Newtown, then?
No, well, the pond is not. But
The pond is all in
This is-
Brookfield?
Yeah. But the pond, yeah, so there's the train tracks. And part of it apparently is in the town of Brookfield.
mhm,
Oh, I see, so it goes right there, so this must be Brookfield here. That's the.
yeah.
Wouldn't we want a little bit more information on what they're doing?
tonight anyway.
Yeah, yeah, before we even sign the,
Yes, I'm gonna
We're not gonna do
I'm
this.
going to review I'm gonna review the 27-page document that,
Mhm.
explains, why CARP and what they do. I'm gonna review the application itself, and then I'm gonna,
And then you'll give us a recommendation on
well,
the next meeting?
yeah, I mean, but I think in the meantime, I'm gonna also send it to the Board of Selectmen,
Yes,
because they would ultimately be the ones to sign it. I think we could give them a recommendation
they would sign it, okay.
saying, yeah, we approve of this program. It seems to me it's probably better than herbicides.
well, since it wasn't on our
No, it wasn't
agenda
on
for
our.
No, it
tonight,
was
it's
on-
just for information, so I thank
You
you
know,
for that.
I'm not really even
And-
familiar with this. It's kind of an odd thing, though, putting fish in a water area where there would be herbicides and,
Well,
I mean, even herbicides, you
yeah,
know,
you
that's-
can read up on it and.
Yeah, and I'll send it right along to you, and then
Okay.
the
And we'll
the
discuss
Department of
it.
Environmental Protection basically trumps us anyway.
Yeah, and we'll discuss it if necessary in 2 weeks.
Right.
The next item is proposed updates to the wetlands regulations. I am going to make a motion to continue that to the next meeting, because I don't think we should discuss that without Sharon here.
Right, I'll second.
Yeah, I agree.
And any discussion? Any, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, updates to wetlands regulations is postponed again. Has anyone had a chance to read the minutes? I did, and I have 2 changes, very minor. Let me,
Okay, what do
Find
you
them.
have there?
if you look in the informal discussion,
At the very end?
near the very end with the information on 20 Station Road. And right here, where you see it's the 5 benefits, benefit number 5, with over 80,000 in flight fines should be blight fines.
Good, Yep.
Um,
good.
And there was something else that I said that was left out that's important, when we made the motion to come out of executive session. There was a statement made that no motions were made while in executive session.
Do you know what page that was?
It's near the end. And that's something.
Oh, right
Yeah.
here, okay.
Yeah, just to tag on to the end that you have to state that no motions were taken during the executive session.
Okay,
So that was, with that, with those 2 corrections, I would make a motion that we approve the minutes of the August 22nd meeting.
I'll second that.
And any discussion, any other items? All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Informal discussion. Anybody want to talk?
No. Talked out.
Good night. Okay, I will take a motion to adjourn if there is nothing else. I'm not trying to rush at it.
Okay,
No,
That
I
would
second
be the
that
time.
too.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
And at the
Any
time,
opposed?
8:34? Okay.
And the time is...
8:30, well, it says on there 8:30.
Well, let's do the official time.
Okay.
8:34.
Okay, let's turn
Go
off
ahead,
the
Michelle.
mics, folks.
Okay.